Hi, this is Miss Nickel, and this is a video on fill in the ions table. So the reason we do this is we are trying to find out the charge that an ion will have after it gains or loses electrons. And there are ways to predict this. So of course it's going to start with the periodic table. And so we have to look at our element symbol. Here CS means cesium. That's going to be in the first column. You get to know them after a while. And so here's cesium, first column. So it is going to have 55 electrons and 55 protons. That's right, because we're starting out with the number of electrons and protons. So the total number of electrons is different from the valence electrons. That is going to be the atomic number, and it's going to be the same as the number of protons. So 55 for that one. And I'm going to write down 55 for my electrons. And I'm going to write down 55 for my protons. Okay, so now I come to the part about the valence electrons. That was cesium being in column number 1. And since cesium is in column number 1, the number of valence electrons is going to be 1. Now, I'm going to teach you guys a shortcut here. And I just realized we didn't even need to do this part. We can just look at this, and we're going to do one more thing, and then we will know the charge on this ion. So we're going to take the number of valence electrons, 1, here. And if we have 1, 2, or 3 valence electrons, we are going to subtract the same amount to get to 0. So this is 1, so we're going to subtract 2 minus 1. Just like that, that would be 0. And now what I can do is just go over here to this column, and I'm going to write the element symbol with the opposite charge that I have here. So it will be the same number, but the opposite charge. So I'm going to write that as cesium, CS. My charge would be a 1, but we don't normally write 1, so I'm not going to write a number. I'm just going to write a plus sign. And that tells me that this is cesium 1 plus. The opposite of what I have here, because if an atom loses an electron, 1 electron, it will have 1 excess positive charge then, since we started out with an equal number of electrons and protons. All right, we're going to go on to aluminum, and we're just going to keep using that shortcut. So when I get to aluminum, that is in my tall group column number 3, and so I am going to write down 3 valence electrons for aluminum, and we'll just keep the color variety going here. So that's 3 valence electrons, and so I'm going to subtract, because if I have 1, 2, or 3 electrons, I subtract to get to 0. So that is a minus 3 on that. And if I have a minus 3 here, I'm going to write the symbol over here, Al, as a 3 plus, the opposite of whatever I had here. Okay, so 2 steps, number of valence electrons, either subtract to get to 0 or add to get to 8. So now look at some add examples. So selenium, the next one, there's selenium, okay? And selenium, you can see right here, or no you can't, now you can, is in the 6th tall column, all right? So that is going to have 6 valence electrons, and we'll do that in green. So I'm going to put a 6 there. Now, 1, 2, or 3, I subtract to get to 0, but 5, 6, or 7, I'm going to have to add the amount I need to add to make a total of 8. That is going to be plus 2 in this case. So 6 plus 2, we know that's 8. That's what we wanted. And now I can go over here. My symbol was Se for selenium. So I'm going to write an Se, and it will be the opposite charge of what I had here. So Se2 minus is going to be what I get here. That's the ion that selenium will form, because it is going to gain 2 electrons, which will make it more negative, so it has a charge of 2 minus. Okay, last one. Fluorine is one of our halogens in the last column, column number 7. That is right here, and it is going to have 7 valence electrons. We will write that down as a 7. And so 5, 6, 7, we're going to add whatever we need to add to get to 8. And so that is going to be a +1. 7 plus 1 is 8. That gives fluorine an octet. And so now we have to go over here. We're going to write fluorine symbol like that. And then it's going to be the opposite of this charge. We don't write the 1, but we are going to write the minus. Now, if you write the 1, I'm not going to mark you off for it. Maybe that makes more sense to you, but that is just the convention in chemistry, is not to write that down. So that was fill in the ions table. If you do it that way, you will get them all right. And this table is from our Unit 3 Bonding Quiz 3 practice test. Okay? All right. I will see you in class.